The massive alien warships appeared without warning on a quiet Tuesday morning. They emerged from hyperspace like dark clouds blocking the sun, their massive hulls casting shadows over Earth's major cities. The Galactic Council, in their infinite arrogance, had decided that humanity needed to be contained. High above Earth's atmosphere, Admiral Stone of the International Space Defense Force watched in horror as his sensor screens lit up with thousands of alien vessels. His heart sank as he realized the enormity of what was about to happen. The orbital defense platforms, humanity's pride and joy, suddenly seemed painfully inadequate against such overwhelming numbers. All stations, battle positions, Stone ordered, his voice steady despite the fear gripping his chest. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. The Council's message arrived on all frequencies in perfect English. Their tone was cold and dismissive. Your species has developed too quickly. You represent an unacceptable risk to galactic stability. Submit to immediate occupation or face extinction. They gave Earth exactly 10 minutes to respond. President Wilson sat in the Emergency Operations Center deep beneath Washington, D.C., surrounded by military advisors and government officials. The room fell silent as they watched the countdown timer on the main screen. "We will not surrender," she declared, her voice firm. "Humanity does not bow to threats." The aliens struck with devastating precision. Their energy weapons cut through Earth's orbital defenses like paper. Admiral Stone watched helplessly as his command station crumbled around him. His last act was to transmit all sensor data to Earth's hidden backup servers, knowing this information would be crucial for any future resistance. The attack on Earth's cities began moments later. The aliens, however, made their first critical mistake. They assumed that destroying major population centers would break humanity's will to fight. They didn't understand that humans had spent centuries preparing for doomsday scenarios, even if they'd imagined the threat would come from their own weapons rather than alien ones. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, General Roberts watched the destruction through satellite feeds. He knew that humanity's most advanced weapons and research facilities remained untouched, hidden in underground bunkers and secret locations across the globe. The aliens had studied Earth's visible defenses but missed the hidden ones. "They think they know what we're capable of," he muttered, watching as emergency protocols activated across the globe. "They have no idea." In underground facilities worldwide, quantum computers more advanced than anything the Council suspected humans could build were to life. AI systems began analyzing alien weapon signatures and shield frequencies. Earth's best scientists, safely housed in hardened bunkers, started working on countermeasures even as the attacks continued above. The first day of the attack claimed millions of lives. New York, London, Tokyo, and dozens of other cities burned. But as the sun set over the smoking ruins, something unexpected happened. Instead of panic and surrender, humanity began to organize. Years of disaster preparedness and civil defense drills kicked in. People moved efficiently to underground shelters. Military units followed long-established protocols for asymmetric warfare. The Council forces watched in confusion as their sensors showed humans disappearing from sight, moving into underground complexes and hidden facilities. They had expected to find the streets full of panicked civilians. Instead, they found empty cities and an eerie silence that made even veteran alien commanders nervous. In their orbital command ship, the Council representatives congratulated themselves on what they saw as a successful first strike. "These humans will submit by morning," the High Commander declared confidently. "No primitive species can withstand such a show of force." But in a secure room deep underground, President Wilson met with her surviving military commanders. The casualty reports were devastating, but humanity was far from defeated. "They expect us to break," she said, looking at the grim faces around her. "Instead, we will show them why you should never corner a species that turned their own planet into a training ground for survival." As night fell over the devastated Earth, human scientists were already analyzing the alien weapon signatures. Engineers began adapting human technology to counter alien shields, and in hidden bases across the planet, humanity's real weapons, the ones too secret to be detected, were being prepared for war. The Council thought they had struck a devastating blow. They didn't realize they had only awakened a sleeping giant. Humanity's retaliation would shake the foundations of galactic society. But that story was just beginning. 2 weeks after the initial attack, the Council forces faced their first surprise. Their scanners detected unusual activity from a supposedly abandoned military base in Nevada. Before they could investigate, 3 of their scout ships disappeared without a trace. In the underground command center, Commander Tom Baker smiled as he watched the alien vessels vanish from his radar screen. "Looks like Project Mirror works perfectly," he said to his team. The project, a cloaking system that humans had developed in secret, was proving more effective than even its creators had hoped. The Council's High Commander demanded answers. How did they hide this technology from us? He roared at his intelligence officers. Their scans had shown humans to be at least 50 years away from developing such capabilities. They didn't know that Earth's quantum computing revolution had happened in complete secrecy, hidden in underground facilities. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Lisa Miller worked with captured alien technology. Her team had managed to salvage parts from a crashed scout ship. What the aliens expected to take humans years to understand, they decoded in days. The secret wasn't just human intelligence. It was the AI systems humans had built, far more sophisticated than anything the Council had imagined possible. "Look at this," Lisa said, pointing to the alien ship's engine core. "Their technology is more advanced than ours, but it's rigid. They haven't improved it in centuries. They stopped innovating." She turned to her team with excitement in her eyes. "We can do better." The Council's overconfidence had led to sloppy security. Their communications weren't as protected as they thought. Human AI systems, designed to crack the most complex codes, began intercepting and decoding alien transmissions. Each message revealed new weaknesses in their supposedly superior technology. Commander Baker organized the first major counterattack. Using the stolen data, his forces targeted a small alien supply base on the moon. The Council had converted it during their first day of occupation, believing it was safely out of humanity's reach. "Remember," Baker told his pilots, "they think we're still using conventional rockets. They won't expect us to have already adapted their own dry systems." His small fleet of fighters, hidden in an underground base, had been retrofitted with reversed engineered alien technology. The attack caught the aliens completely off guard. Human fighters seemed to appear from nowhere, using the cloaking technology that the Council didn't know existed. The aliens' defensive shields, designed to stop energy weapons, proved useless against the simple kinetic weapons humans had modified with their new understanding of alien tech. In 20 minutes, the lunar base fell. The Council lost their primary supply point for Earth operations, and more importantly, they lost their sense of invulnerability. The Council's leadership called an emergency meeting. "How is this possible?" one of the senior members demanded. They were supposed to be primitive. Another member, older and wiser, studied the battle recordings with growing concern. "We may have made a terrible mistake," he admitted quietly. Back on Earth, Dr. Miller made another breakthrough. She discovered that alien shield technology had a fundamental weakness. It couldn't adapt to rapidly changing frequencies. Human AI systems, however, could change frequencies millions of times per second. "Their shields are like a wall," she explained to Commander Baker. "Strong, but inflexible. Ours are like water, constantly changing, impossible to predict." She showed him simulation results that made his eyes widen. "We can pierce their defenses whenever we want." Word of the lunar victory spread through Earth's hidden bunkers and underground cities. People who had lived in fear for weeks began to hope again. Human resistance cells, organized since the first day of the attack, started emerging from hiding to strike at alien patrols. The Council forces found themselves facing an enemy that seemed to be everywhere and nowhere. Their superior technology, unchanged for centuries, proved increasingly useless against human innovations that evolved by the hour. In their orbital headquarters, the Council leaders watched with growing unease as their ground forces reported more losses. They had expected to find a primitive species ready for harvest. Instead, they had awakened humanity's greatest strength, our ability to adapt, innovate, and overcome. The Council's first major defeat was just the beginning. Humanity wasn't just fighting back. They were revolutionizing warfare with every passing day. And in secret facilities around the world, Earth's scientists and soldiers prepared even bigger surprises for their unwanted visitors. 1 month into the invasion, Earth was ready to launch its first major offensive. In the main command center beneath Mount Rushmore, Commander Baker stood before a holographic display showing the Council's nearest outpost, a massive space station orbiting Mars. "This is our chance to show them what humanity can really do," Baker told his assembled officers. The room hummed with nervous energy as technicians made final preparations for Operation Thunderstrike. Dr. Miller had worked day and night with her team to perfect their new weapon. They called it the Digital Plague, a virus that could infect and shut down alien systems. The Council's overconfidence meant they had never developed serious cyber defenses. Why would they? No primitive species had ever breached their networks before. "The virus is ready," Dr. Miller reported, dark circles under her eyes from weeks of non-stop work. "Once it enters their network, their shields will drop in exactly 6 minutes." She looked at the assembled pilots. "You'll have a 10-minute window. Make it count." The attack began at dawn. A small human cargo ship, captured during the initial invasion, approached the Mars station. The Council guards barely gave it a second look. It was broadcasting all the correct codes, stolen and decrypted by Earth's AI systems. Inside the cargo ship, Lieutenant Robert Walker kept his breathing steady as he piloted the vessel. "Package is in position," he whispered into his comm. The ship's holds weren't filled with supplies. They contained the most advanced electronic warfare systems humanity had ever built. At exactly 600 hours, Walker activated the virus. It spread through the station's networks like wildfire. Alien crew members rushed to their stations as systems began failing one by one. Emergency alerts blared, but the commands to raise shields or call for help never reached their destinations. "All units, execute Operation Thunderstrike," Commander Baker ordered. From behind Mars moons emerged 50 small Earth fighters, each armed with weapons reverse-engineered from alien technology. They had been hiding there for days, using the improved cloaking systems developed by Dr. Miller's team. The Council's mighty space station, pride of their defensive network, stood helpless as its shields flickered and died. The human fighters struck with surgical precision, targeting power cores and weapon systems that had been identified during weeks of careful surveillance. In the station's control room, the alien commander watched in horror as his supposedly superior forces crumbled before what he had dismissed as a primitive species. He managed to send one final message to the Council before his communications went dark. "They are not what we thought they were." The battle lasted exactly 17 minutes. When it was over, the largest Council military installation in the solar system belonged to Earth. More importantly, humanity now had access to the station's vast database of alien technology and tactical information. "Send word to the Council," President Wilson commanded from her underground office. "Tell them this is just the beginning." Her message was broadcast on all frequencies, translated into every Council language. "You came to our home and tried to destroy us. Now learn why that was a mistake." The Council's response was predictable. They sent a massive fleet to retake the Mars station. But Earth was ready. Dr. Miller had already extracted the station's most valuable data, and the human forces withdrew before the fleet arrived. They left behind another surprise, a modified version of the virus that infected the entire relief fleet. In their grand chamber on the Council's capital world, the alien leaders faced an uncomfortable reality. The species they had dismissed as barely space-capable had just dealt them their first major military defeat in 10,000 years. "Perhaps," suggested one of the younger Council members, We should consider opening diplomatic channels. The others quickly silenced him, but the seed of doubt had been planted. Back on Earth, Commander Baker and Dr. Miller were already planning their next move. The captured data had revealed something incredible, a fundamental flaw in the Council's faster-than-light drive technology. One that humans, with their fresh perspective and advanced AI, had spotted immediately. They'd been using the same systems for millennia. Dr. Miller explained, excitement in her voice. They never questioned if there might be a better way, but we found it. As Earth's scientists and engineers worked to exploit this discovery, one thing became clear: humanity wasn't just fighting to survive anymore. They were fighting to show the galaxy that underestimating Earth had been the Council's greatest mistake. The first major victory was complete, but in labs and bases around the world, humans were preparing even bigger surprises for their alien opponents. The real war was just beginning. 2 months after the Mars Station victory, Earth's military forces gathered for their largest operation yet. The underground bunkers that had protected humanity now served as launching points for a united counteroffensive. Commander Baker stood in the new Global Command Center, carved deep beneath the Himalayas. Screens showed military units from every surviving nation on Earth, all waiting for his signal. The old rivalries between countries had vanished in the face of alien aggression. "We're tracking 300 Council ships in Earth orbit," reported Major Helen Reed, her fingers moving across the holographic display. "They still haven't figured out how we're hiding from their scanners." The aliens' powerful sensors remained blind to Earth's new stealth technology. Dr. Miller rushed into the command center, holding a tablet computer. "It worked," she announced, her face glowing with excitement. "The AI just finished combining our gravity manipulation technology with their faster-than-light drives. We can now move faster than any Council ship." The new hybrid drives were just the beginning. Humans had taken alien technology and improved it in ways the Council had never imagined. Where the aliens had built their empire on unchanging traditions, humanity embraced change and innovation. "All units, prepare for Operation Rising Phoenix," Commander Baker announced over the global communication network. Around the world, hidden hangar doors slid open. Thousands of fighters and battleships, built in secret using combined human and alien technology, rose from their underground bases. The Council fleet in orbit had no warning. Suddenly, their neat formations were broken by human ships appearing in their midst. The new hybrid drives let Earth's forces jump in and out of battle faster than the aliens could track. "They're still using predictable attack patterns," Major Reed observed as she coordinated the assault. 3,000 years of doing things the same way makes them vulnerable. Human pilots, trained to think creatively, easily outmaneuvered their rigid alien counterparts. In space, the battle looked like a dance of lights. Council ships fired their energy weapons in traditional formations, but found only empty space. Human vessels appeared from unexpected angles, their weapons enhanced by AI systems that could adjust to any situation. On the Council's command ship, the alien admiral watched in disbelief as his fleet was torn apart by what he had considered an inferior force. "Impossible," he shouted as another squadron of his ships went dark. They were primitives just months ago. The space around Earth was littered with disabled Council vessels. Dr. Miller's latest invention, a pulse weapon that overloaded alien power systems without destroying the ships, proved devastatingly effective. Each captured ship provided more technology for humans to study and improve. In the Council's Grand Chamber, the news of the defeat brought chaos. "How are they learning so fast?" one member demanded. Another, looking at the battle footage, noticed something disturbing. "Their weapons, they're using our own technology, but better than we do." Back on Earth, President Wilson addressed the united human forces. "Today, we showed the galaxy that humanity will not be conquered," she declared. "But this is just the beginning. We don't just want to defend Earth. We want to ensure no species ever tries to subjugate another again." Dr. Miller's team made another breakthrough that evening. They found a way to detect Council ships even when they were using their most advanced stealth systems. Their cloaking technology hasn't changed in centuries, she explained. We designed our sensors to look for things they never thought of. Commander Baker immediately saw the potential. We can track their fleet movements across the galaxy, he realized. For the first time, we'll know where they're going to strike before they arrive. The Council had expected to find a primitive species struggling to reach the stars. Instead, they found humanity at its finest, adaptive, innovative, and unwilling to accept defeat. Each passing day brought new improvements to Earth's defenses and weapons. In secret facilities around the globe, scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to combine human creativity with alien technology. The Council had given humanity access to advanced technology, but they hadn't counted on humans finding ways to make that technology even better. The liberation of Earth's orbit marked a turning point in the war. The Council could no longer ignore the fact that their simple punishment of humanity had turned into the greatest military disaster in their history. And Earth was just getting started. 3 months into the war, Earth was ready to take the fight directly to the Council. Commander Baker stood before the combined fleet of Earth. 5,000 ships built with hybrid technology, each more advanced than anything the Council possessed. Today, we strike at 12 Council worlds simultaneously, he announced to the assembled commanders. The room fell silent. Even 6 months ago, the idea of attacking one alien world would have seemed impossible. Now Earth was preparing to hit 12 at once. Dr. Miller stepped forward, activating a holographic display. Each of your ships is equipped with our latest weapon, the Shield Breaker. She pointed to a simulation showing alien defensive barriers collapsing. Their shields haven't changed in 1,000 years. Ours adapt every microsecond. Major Reed coordinated the massive assault from the Global Command Center. Strike groups 1 through 12. Prepare for synchronized jumps, she ordered. The human fleet, hidden in 12 different locations across the solar system, waited for her signal. The Council had no warning. One moment, their worlds were secure behind their unbreakable planetary shields. The next, human ships appeared in their skies, using jump points the Council had thought impossible to calculate. Remember, Commander Baker's voice reached every Earth ship. We disable, not destroy. Show them we're better than they are. The Council had attacked Earth's cities. Humanity would prove itself more civilized by targeting only military installations. On the Council world of Primaris, the alien defense commander watched in horror as human ships effortlessly penetrated their best shields. How are they doing this? He demanded, but his technical staff had no answers. Earth's constantly evolving technology was beyond their understanding. Dr. Miller's shield breaker worked perfectly. The weapon fired pulses that matched the exact frequency of alien shields for a fraction of a second before changing to a new pattern. Council defenses, designed to be stable and unchanging, couldn't adapt fast enough. All targets neutralized on Primaris, reported the first strike group. Similar reports came in from the other 11 worlds. In less than an hour, Earth had accomplished what no species had done in 10,000 years. Successfully attacked multiple Council worlds. The Council chamber erupted into chaos. This is unprecedented, shouted one member. They were barely space-capable when we found them. Another member, studying the battle reports, noticed something significant. They could have destroyed our cities, he realized. But they chose not to. On Earth, President Wilson prepared a message to be broadcast across the Council's communication networks. We have demonstrated our power, she declared. Now we offer peace, but peace with conditions. The age of Council dominance is over. Commander Baker watched from his flagship as Council ships near Earth began retreating. They're running scared, Major Reed observed. Our attack showed them they're not invincible anymore. The smaller races of the galaxy, long dominated by the Council, took notice. Secret messages began arriving at Earth's communication centers. They want to know if we'll protect them from the Council, Major Reed reported. They see us as liberators. Dr. Miller's team made another breakthrough that evening. We've cracked their entire defense network, she announced. We can shut down military installations across their empire with a single command. The Council's practice of using standardized, unchanged systems for millennia had finally become their greatest weakness. The Council's leadership faced a difficult truth. They had completely misjudged humanity. They had seen Earth's nuclear weapons and primitive spaceships, but missed something crucial. They hadn't recognized that humanity's greatest weapon was its ability to learn, adapt, and improve. All Earth forces, hold positions. Commander Baker ordered. Let's give them time to consider their options. The human fleet, now positioned over 12 Council worlds, stood ready but didn't press their advantage. They were demonstrating not just military power, but restraint. In just 3 months, humanity had gone from fighting for survival to becoming one of the most powerful forces in the galaxy. But unlike the Council, they had no intention of using that power to dominate others. The turning point had arrived. The Council would have to choose: adapt to a new reality where they weren't the supreme power, or face the consequences of continuing to fight a species that grew stronger with each passing day. Earth waited for their answer, ready for either outcome. The next move would determine the future of the galaxy. The Council's mighty central station, home of their government for 10,000 years, orbited a massive gas giant. For the first time in its history, the station was in complete chaos. Council members argued as reports of more worlds seeking Earth's protection arrived every hour. "We must strike back with everything we have," shouted one of the senior council members, pounding his fist on the ancient meeting table. "We cannot let these humans humiliate us further." "Are you blind?" responded another member, displaying holographic images of Earth's recent attacks. "They've already bypassed our best defenses. A direct attack would be suicide." On Earth, Commander Baker prepared for the most daring operation of the war. "Operation Checkmate is ready," he informed President Wilson. The plan was simple but bold. They would take control of the Council's central station itself. Dr. Miller had spent weeks preparing for this mission. "The station's defense systems are linked to a central computer," she explained, pointing to detailed scans. "One that hasn't been updated in over 1,000 years. We can shut it down in seconds." Major Reed organized the assault force, 100 of Earth's best ships, each carrying improved versions of every weapon they had developed. "Remember," she told the crews, "we want to capture the station, not destroy it. This ends today." The Council's emergency meeting was interrupted by alarms. Human ships appeared from nowhere, surrounding the station in a perfect sphere formation. Their weapons were powered down. This was a show of force, not an attack. Commander Baker's voice boomed through every speaker on the station. "Your shields are already down. Your weapons are offline. We could have destroyed this station. Instead, we offer you one last chance to end this war." Inside the Council chamber, panic erupted. Some members immediately called for surrender. Others demanded they fight to the death. The Council, united for 10,000 years, was finally breaking apart. "Look," shouted one of the younger Council members, pointing at the human ships. "Their weapons aren't even active. They're showing us mercy, something we didn't show them when we attacked Earth." Dr. Miller's voice came next over the station speakers. "We have complete control of your systems. Your empire stood unchanged for millennia. That was your weakness. You stopped adapting. You stopped learning. But humanity never stops evolving." As if to prove her point, the station's massive screens activated, showing recordings of Earth's technological evolution over the past few months. Council members watched in amazement as humans took their technology and improved it in ways they had never imagined. The Council's High Commander stood up slowly. For the first time in his long life, he felt old and obsolete. "How?" he asked simply, his voice reaching the human ships. "How did you advance so quickly?" Commander Baker's response was calm and clear. "Because we had to. Humanity has spent its entire history adapting to survive. You gave us no choice but to adapt faster than ever before." Major Reed's sensors detected more Council ships arriving, but not to fight. "Sir," she reported to Baker. They're powering down their weapons. All of them. In the council chamber, the balance of power shifted. The younger members, those who had warned against attacking Earth, took control. The old guard, those who had pushed for humanity's destruction, found themselves suddenly powerless. A new voice came from the station, the youngest council member ever appointed. "We request a meeting," she announced. "Not as superiors, but as equals. It's time for the galaxy to change." President Wilson's response was broadcast across the entire council network. "We accept. Let today mark the end of the old order and the beginning of a new era, one where no species claims superiority over another." Commander Baker ordered the human fleet to maintain their positions, but lower their defensive shields, a gesture of trust. Dr. Miller's team began receiving messages from council scientists, eager to share knowledge and learn from humanity's innovations. The council station, once a symbol of unchanging power, became the site of the galaxy's greatest change. The war was ending not with the destruction of either side, but with the promise of something better. As the first peace talks began, one thing became clear to everyone. The galaxy would never be the same again. And perhaps that was exactly what it needed. 1 month after the dramatic confrontation at the council station, representatives from 100 alien species gathered in a place no one had expected, New York City. The city, rebuilt with combined human and alien technology, stood as a symbol of Earth's resilience. Commander Baker watched from the podium as President Wilson addressed the gathered species. The Great Hall of the new Galactic Assembly, built where the United Nations once stood, hummed with translation devices and hovering camera drones. 6 months ago, the Council thought they could simply erase us. President Wilson began. "Today, we gather not as conquerors or victims, but as equals. This is humanity's gift to the galaxy, a new way forward." Dr. Miller stood nearby, her team's latest invention making the meeting possible. A universal translator, far more advanced than anything the Council had used, allowed every species to understand each other perfectly. It learned and adapted to new languages in real time, just as humanity had adapted to survive. The old Council believed that change was dangerous. The young council member who had called for peace spoke next. "They forgot that the galaxy itself is always changing. Humanity reminded us of this truth in the most dramatic way possible." Major Reed, now General Reed, presented the assembly with data showing how Earth's defense innovations had spread throughout the galaxy. Smaller worlds, once helpless against aggressors, now had shields and systems that could protect them from any threat. "We offer these technologies freely," she announced. "Earth remembers what it means to be vulnerable. We will ensure no peaceful species ever feels that way again." Commander Baker stepped forward to present the new Galactic Charter. "The first rule is simple," he declared. "No species may force its will upon another. The time of empires and forced submission is over." The assembly erupted in applause. Species that had lived under council dominion for thousands of years were finally free to choose their own path. Earth had not only liberated itself but had changed the very structure of galactic society. Dr. Miller's team had one final surprise. They unveiled plans for a new type of faster-than-light travel network, one that would make space exploration safer and more accessible to all species. "The galaxy is vast," she explained, "but distance should not divide us." The former council races watched in amazement as humanity continued to innovate and share their discoveries. The very species they had tried to crush was now teaching them new ways to look at their own ancient technologies. President Wilson signed the new charter with a pen, a deliberately old-fashioned gesture that made many alien observers click their translation devices in amusement. "Let this be recorded," she said. "Earth signs not as rulers, but as partners in a greater community." In orbit above Earth, the combined fleet of 100 worlds gathered for a peaceful display. Human ships flew alongside vessels from former council worlds and independent species. The sight would have been unimaginable just months ago. Commander Baker received an unexpected message that evening. The oldest council member, one who had voted for Earth's destruction, requested a meeting. "I was wrong about humanity," the ancient alien admitted. "You could have destroyed us. Instead, you showed us a better way." Dr. Miller's final report to the Assembly highlighted the lesson everyone had learned. The Council's greatest mistake wasn't attacking Earth. It was believing that their way was the only way. Humanity proved that adaptation and innovation are not just tools for survival. They're the keys to a better future. As the Assembly concluded, ships departed for worlds across the galaxy, carrying with them Earth's technologies and innovations. But more importantly, they carried a new idea. That change was not something to be feared, but embraced. The stars above Earth seemed brighter that night. In just 6 months, humanity had gone from fighting for survival to leading a peaceful revolution that transformed the galaxy. They had not just survived the Council's attack, they had turned it into an opportunity to build something better. Major Reed's final status report summed it up perfectly. Earth's greatest victory wasn't defeating the Council. It was showing the galaxy that there's always a better way forward. We just have to be brave enough to find it. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly what everyone needed.